enjoy certain privileges in life, you must have attained to certain level. Money secrets the bank will never tell you. Yesterday, I was discussing with one banker, and this has been my conviction for a long time. So I was telling him, like, look, I really think I can get the bank to pay for my house or pay for my car or pay for anything that I want to buy. And he said, but it's true. I got people who used to do it when I work in the bank. You see, prior to yesterday, when I was talking to him, I've not really sat down with anybody to discuss it, but I thought it's possible, right? And the way to do it is very easily. Of course, when it comes to anything, finances or anything in life, you must first have certain level of attain to certain level to be able to command certain kind of results, So I always thought that, the bank lend money to people. The bank can lend money from you, and they are also in the bank investment opportunities, right? So I thought to myself, like, think about it. Let's assume I have $2 million in a bank and decide to, invest this $2 million in one of those investment, vehicles in the bank. And for the sake of this example, let me use rands, South African rands, for the sake of this example. So assuming I have 2 million rands in a bank, let's say FNB bank, for instance, and I maybe decide to talk to one FNB investment staff and decide to work out a deal. I know they give in FNB, you can get maybe with 100,000 rands, you can get like 8% return on investments, or 8.4%, somewhere there. But if you get up to $1 million, 1 million rands or 2 million rands, you can always talk to a superior manager and work out a deal, maybe get a 10% or more, So I know that if I have a 2 million rands and I invest it in FNB at maybe, for instance, a 10% return on investment, which I know you can easily get from FNB. Just don't talk to the people at the counter, go inside, talk to a manager. They can give you such deal. So with a $2 million rands invested, you get like maybe 10% return on investment. That will mean that from your 2 million rands at 10%, you are likely to get every year from FNB 240,000 rands. Listen, this is exciting. FNB will pay you 240,000 rands for investing 2 million rands with them. What I'm sharing now, you can take it to FNB. Take the video to them and show them if what I'm saying is not possible, right? 240,000 rands on your 2 million rands invested with them every year. So I thought, well, if that is the case, then I can buy a house and get them to pay for it. So, but how do you mean? To be honest, if you get a house for like 1.2 million, for instance, you're not likely to pay more than, let's say, 15,000 rands monthly installment on that house. Right? So, and if I'll pay maybe plus minus 15,000 rands somewhere there, installment on the house I bought for 1.2, 1.3 million, and I'm supposed to be making somewhere around about 20,000 plus minus 20,000 from the bank every month on my 2 million. That means that instead of them paying that money to me, they can take the 15,000 that is supposed to go towards the installment of my house from the money that they've made for me in the month, which is about 20,000. Take 15,000, put it in the house, put the rest money back in my portfolio. So what happened is, by the time you finish paying off what happened is that you can connect it in such a way that the money don't need to come to you. You don't even know how it's happening. Every month, the interest on your 2 million, 15,000 goes They transfer it to the home loan accounts to pay for your home loan. The remaining 5,000, they put it back, add it to your 2 million. So what happened is, in 20 years, this 2 million will have grown to almost 5 million rands. This 2 million that they are adding 5,000 to every month will have grown to almost 5 million rands, if not more than 5, if not 5 million every year. I mean, by 20 years. So the money grows to 5 million or more, and at the same time, you pay the house off after 20 years. So after 20 years, you own the house, you have more money. So whichever way you look at it, you have become richer. Your house is somewhere like free, which is of course not really free. But this is a game. The bankers know that if you are smart, you can play. So what happened? You are making more money. The bank is making the money for you, growing your investment, at the same time paying for the house you bought. The point now is, okay, I like what you just said, but how do I get the 2 million? I don't. So the point now is this: as you explain it, I really get it, and I really wish I want to do it. But how do I get the 2 million to start with? It's also simple. That's why I say that to enjoy certain privileges in life, you must have attained to certain level. You see, where the work is in how you get to that level where you enjoy those privileges. I have on the board some calculations how you can easily arrive at over 1 million or 2 million to give to the bank, to invest in the bank. Of course, you don't have to invest with the bank. You can also invest in other investment, companies around, and connect the investment company to whatever you want to buy from the bank. So the company generate profit and pay to the bank. So that way, you are not under any pressure. It's not, you don't have to work from your pocket to pay mortgage, which is what I'm not in favor of. You see, as long as your investment is the one paying for your lifestyle, I don't have a problem. But that you are working and getting salary to pay for house mortgage, in my own opinion, is not smart. Right? So think about this calculation, how you can arrive at millions, 1, 2 or more. I did some calculation on the board. For example, if you are able to invest 10,000 rands every month for 10 years at minimum, which is, I know that you can easily get way more than this. I'm very, very sure. But just to be, put things on the safer side, minimum of 7% return on investment. If you invest 10,000 rands for 10 years at 7% return on investment, at the end of the 10 years, you will have 1,750,000 rands. So you are 250,000 less than 2 million rands. Imagine now you're working, you give yourself this 10 years, say in 10 years' time, I'll have close to 2 million, or I'll have 2 million rands. You start working on it. After 10 years, you can now go buy your house. You take this money, which we all know that you cannot buy a house and pay it off in 10 years using the bank and your salary, except something happened along the way, right? So what I decide to do rather is, some of you earn 25,000, net income. Some of you earn 30 or more net income. You can do this. But of course, I know most of you already who earn that much have already made the wrong decision. You already bought a house that is tied to your salary. Not much you can do. All right, so imagine you're able to save this from your salary, and you give yourself 10 years at 7% interest. By 10 years' time, you'll have close to $2 million rands. After 10 years now, you take this money as an investment to the bank and say, look, I have this money to invest, not to buy. It's not wise to make this much cash and carry the cash to go buy a house. You are not a wise person. But I don't owe anybody. Listen, people who are wealthy are not afraid of owing. as long as it doesn't affect your life. See, even the government is owing. So owing is not in itself is not bad, so long as you know the game you are playing. So I take this money. I'll never use this cash, because you can, if once you ever have access to this amount of money, it will be foolishness if you ever become broke. So take this money to the bank, invest it with the bank, negotiate your deal to maybe a 10% or more, and they give it to you. So with them now, they have your money invested, and then you pledge that money. You go look for a house worth 1.5, which is 5 million rand, which would be a very good house, or something less. Or even look for a land, get a loan from the bank, buy the land loan to build the house. It will be way cheaper. See, so what has happened is this bank here will invest the money. The profit they are making on your money, they are using part of that profit to pay for the house you bought with them. And the rest of the profits they reinvest in your portfolio. Like I explained earlier on. So at the end of 20 years, which is plus this 10 years now, talking about 30 years in all, you have a house that is fully paid for. You have a lot of money that have grown to several million. You know, that's why there's a portion of the Bible where Jesus says that the man who has, more will be given to him. That's a principle. If you have, you will have more. He said, if you don't have, the little you have will be taken from you. So you say, but this guy have money already. Yes, money plus the wisdom I'm sharing now. You take the money, invest it, get a loan against this money, and then this money pay for the loan. In the worst case scenario, after 20 years, you have your money, you have the house. You are not under pressure, because you can spend all the money you are earning after that, just squander it, live the life you want to live. Yet, you are not poor. And you are not on your way to becoming poor. The same is true. If you can, maybe some people can do 15. I know people who are saving 15,000. I mean, investing 15,000 every month. I know those who are doing 20,000. I know people who are even investing as much as 25,000 rands per month. You may say, but that's a lot. Yes. Fortunately, they have the kind of job that enable them to do that. Right? So maybe yours is 15,000. If you're able to invest 15,000 in 10 years at 7%, which I said is very small, you will have at least 2.6 million. With 2.6 million, you can buy a house, buy, a big car, and get the bank to pay for them. While the house is being paid for and the car is being paid for, your money is growing. Yet you probably are still working. You see how rich you are? Imagine the kind of life you will live at that rate. You don't have to be, a serious businessman. The bank itself is doing the business for you. That's why I said money secret the bank will never tell you. The bankers know if they can advise people like this, they know many people will be rich. But it's not in their place. You see, their job, they are not in the business of making people rich. They are in the business of keeping people's money. And making money from your money or from you. So, of course, another way is 15,000 you can save for 5 years. You will get 1,095,000. Not too much, but that's something you can start with. In the event where you think 10 years is a long time, you can try 5 years. I know people who pay 13,000 rands on their car installments. And they are paying it for the next 7 years. You see, I know people, their installment is 13,000, some 14,000. And they're going to pay for the next 5-7 years. So imagine what that would do if you use the same amount of money and decide to just invest it. Drive a Toyota just for 5 years. In fact, drive a Nissan March or drive Honda, whatever, or Mazda Demio, doesn't matter, and look cheap or look poor for just 5 years. In that 5 years, you become a millionaire. You can decide to put the money in the bank and buy a bigger car, and the bank will pay for that house, for that car. When the car is fully paid for, you have the car, you have money, you have the money. See, so the same thing. I said, on people who save 20,000, you can do 20,000 for 5 years at 7%. You are looking at 1.4 million. Just 5 years. You will have changed your financial trajectory for life. So that's why I did a video. I did a video that talked about who you become when you are rich. It's not about the money, it's about who you have become. So that discipline is very important. And of course, you can, if you want to go the longer time, because maybe you don't have that much money, if you start a 5,000 now, in 15 years, you'll be what? That 5,000 investment will be worth almost 1.6 million. So it's easy. You can really get the bank to fund your lifestyle. But first, you must first be disciplined and achieve certain level. From that, then on, you'll start enjoying these privileges. So think about it. Life is not that difficult. I tell you, I was discussing with someone this past 2 days, and I was telling them the things I know today, if I knew them some maybe 5-10 years ago, you'd be amazed at what I would have done. But then again, that's life. We keep learning. Yes, there are many things I don't know now that I'm eventually going to know tomorrow. So I'm sharing with you this knowledge so you can make some adjustment. Perhaps maybe you are driving a big car right now and you are paying so much for that car. You probably could say, that money you are paying is coming from your salary, from your pockets, 13,000. Probably could sell the car, go back to living a simple life for just 5 years. So you can take control of your financial life. All right. See you again in the next video.